between working in her chosen field or to go into real estate. Obviously, her love of real estate won out in that choice. As we all know, you can just by talking to Glenda or reading the Herald and Review, she is always learning. She's always going to schools and seminars to further her education. In Glenda's opinion, age is an attitude. If you think you can or you can't, you are absolutely correct. Glenda has 3 grown children in the Chicago area and in Arizona. She is currently married to her first high school boyfriend. As once again, another thing that we probably all know about Glenda, she is very grounded in her faith. So she begins and ends each day with God. Glenda has sold real estate here in the area for 32 years this month, and she's bringing to us today a presentation on Generation Y. So please welcome Glenda.
Thank you very much. I heard a speaker at a conference that I attended and did some research on it and decided just to share it because we really like it at the office. We found it so interesting and helpful with our clients, with each other, and with our family and friends. And for the first time in history, there are 4 generations in the workplace and in the marketplace. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the 4 generations, and then we'll watch a real short video clip about Jason Ryan Dorsey. He was our speaker. First of the 4 generations is Gen Y. They were born between 1977 and 1995. Is there anyone in here in that group? Don't think so. Our younger members aren't here today. The next group is Gen X, born between 1965 and 1977. Anyone in that group? Ah, okay. The next group is the baby boomer group, born 46 to 64. Who's a part of that group? Okay. Then we have the matures. Pre-1946. So how many are in that group? Okay. Great. Okay, we don't need some of these comments. Okay, well, then that was pre. Okay, but the matures are divided into 2 groups, actually. We have the active retiree group, 1925 to 1945. And then we have the full retired group, 1901 to 1924. Do we have anyone in that group? No, we don't. Okay. I'll just tell you a little bit about each group. The full retired group, between 01 and 24, were the generation that had major accomplishments. They worked together to create America the superpower. They became first known as the senior citizens. 3 out of 10 lived in the same house for over 30 years. Most have planned for possibly not ever having to move, yet over 1.5 million move every year. They grew up in the Depression. The household of that generation is male-dominated with long-term marriages and strong faith in God. They are defined by their career or title. They believe in hard work and saving. The next group, born between 25 and 45, are called, they're the active retiree or the silent generation. They're called the silent generation sometimes because there has never been a president of the United States elected from this generation. Wow. This generation has found careers in middle managers, mediators, and counselors. They believe in compromise and talking it out. They're sandwiched between the great leaders of the GI generation and the forceful baby boomers. They're concerned with maintaining image while downsizing to smaller homes and townhomes, which I'm in the process of right now myself, so I really understand that. This is the group that is now populating the new sun cities around the country. They have plans somewhat to take care of their future, but they also have a fear of outliving their assets. and many of them are back into the workplace, many of them after being retired for even 10 years. They don't want to be dependent on their children for care. The next group is the boomer, being born between 46 and 64. This generation rebelled against their fathers. They are more vulnerable and more demanding than any other generation has ever been. They're comfortable with their own identity and have greater earnings than others, but may lack savings. They will enjoy life well into their 90s because of advanced medical improvements. They will probably work past the 65 retirement age because of their lack of savings. They may end up supporting both their children and their parents. They will want more than one home, a vacation, as well as a residence. They want it all. They want instant gratification. Gen X, born between 65 and 76, raised themselves due to both parents working. Were given lots of information and told to draw their own conclusions. Possessed matter-of-fact attitudes. They are group-oriented, very pragmatic and practical. They have a drive-through mentality. The cost of education, living, and housing is spiraling for them. This group is experiencing a decline in purchasing power and is caught in the dual income trap. And in this group also, there are way more fathers involved in their children's lives than the other generations that we have seen so far. And now we will watch, I'll tell you a little bit about the Y first before we watch this video. The Gen Y is entitled, the entitled generation. They are age 16 to 34. They're the only generation with no expectation of lifetime employment. The baby boomers who are their parents grew up without internet, mobile technology, and didn't grow up with 911 over there, clouding their world. The Gen Y carry the label of being adult adolescents. That means adult without responsibility. It's too bad some of them aren't here to defend themselves. But listen for more though, because by the year 2017, they're going to outspend the baby boomers. So we better understand them, and we better make it all work for everybody else, because then behind them will come another generation that will be different than the rest of us. They're very tech dependent. They value lifestyles and relationship. They relate best to the group born before 46. I think maybe it's the grandparenting mentality. They expect lots of feedback. If their boss isn't giving them feedback, they think they don't like them. And if they don't like a job, they may not quit. They'll just go to lunch and not return. Some in here are shaking their head. And I talked about all these things at sales meeting this morning, and one of the gals says, oh gosh, yes, you know, her husband's at Caterpillar, and she said, Caterpillar's had a real issue with this generation doing that. They just don't return. Well, their parents have told them they could be and do whatever they want. If they work with you or work for you, you need to explain in detail every little thing and be very specific. And Susan had mentioned this just a few minutes ago, how she deals with this out at the conference center. They can't read cursive. Well, they've got the internet. They've got the computer. The Gen Y tagline for marketing, if anyone wants to market to attract this group, as unique as you are. If you send them an email, in the tagline or the subject line, you should put what you want them to know, because they probably won't open it up. Don't ask, as a realtor, I shouldn't ask a Gen Y for referrals. the best thing to do is say, do you have any friends that I could help find a house? Or better than that, why don't you bring your friends along while we go look at houses? Because they want their friends' approval. It really means a lot to them. They look to their peer group for support. If they work for you, make their very first day memorable. Make them feel like a VIP. And they're on Facebook, and if it's their birthday, if you really want to make friends, at 12:01, be the first to wish them happy birthday. Catch them doing something good, and then tell someone important in their life what they did. Their parents, their spouse, their friends, their children, most of all, their mom, because they're really close to mom. By 2017, they will outspend the baby boomer. And we're just going to play a short clip off of YouTube